Okay, next video, we're going to draw a thing that's called a stepped block. So, in case you haven't worked out already, I'm not sure I've shown you, to go back to our main Onshape menu, if we simply click that, it'll go back to where all our documents are. So, we're going to create a new document now, call it a stepped block. And click OK. Right, let's start by creating a sketch. This time we're going to use the front plane. And we can turn off all these planes now. We don't need any of those anymore. Right click and go View Normal and Rectangle Tool. This time our rectangle is going to be, remember the dimension tool, that's where we set our size. It's going to be 100 long, press enter, by I think it's 40. Yes, that looks right. So a rectangle that's 100 long, 40 high. That sketch is done. Go back to a 3D view and extrude. We're going to extrude this to a thickness of 40 millimeters. So it should be on the new. We change the depth to 40. And now we've got a rectangular prism. So we're actually going to do a cutout in here. So we're going to use a similar technique to what we did on that cube. So we create a sketch. This time we click on the surface. I'm just going to click on this face here. And we're going to view normal to the sketch plane. And you know, if I click N on the keyboard, it does exactly the same thing. So there's three ways we could have view it front on. We can use the view cube, right click, view normal, or just N on the keyboard. So in sketch 2, we are now going to do a rectangle. This rectangle is going to start in this corner. So when you're touching edges, they highlight. When you're touching corners, you get a little square, a circle with a square. So that's where we're going to start our rectangle. So click once and drag our rectangle across. We're going to use our dimension tool, short edge. We're going to set that to half of 40, which of course is 20. And we're going to set this dimension on the long edge of that new rectangle to 50. So we could use this or this, it doesn't really matter. So we can actually, if you're ever struggling with your maths, we can let the program do the maths for us. So we know we want 100 divided by 2, so we can type 100 divided by 2. Press enter, and it does the maths for us. That sketch is done. So we click, we go back to a 3D view, and we're going to extrude. And we're going to extrude this shape through. We don't want to add, we want to do a remove. And we want to go all the way through the object. So last time we did a through all. Another thing we could do, we could drag this slider. So it's not usually the best practice to drag. It's often better to do the through all command, but I just wanted to show you another way we can do this. Tick. There's our step block. Now there's one more thing we're going to do. We're going to put a hole in this face through, all the way through. That hole will be at a diameter of 20 millimeters, and it needs to be centered. So can you work out how to do that? You should do if you picked up what happened in that hold cube. So we're going to click sketch, we're going to click on this surface. We're going to view it normal. So remember, we could use the view cue, the right click, or just N on the keyboard. Circle tool. And because we're only selected this face, we want to inference. And notice that it's only highlighting half the existing object, and that's what we want. So we've got to find the midpoint. There it is. I'm not clicking, but I'm just inferencing it, and then move the cursor over, inference this edge, move it across until we get the two intersecting dashed lines. Click to start the circle, click again to end the circle, and let's dimension that to 20 millimeters. Oh, that sketch is done. Let's go back to a 3D view. Can you guess what we do next? If you said extrude, that circle with a remove and with a through all, you guessed right. So check, looks good, and tick, that's done. Down here, we've got our parts browser, and one thing we can do here, we can turn it off or turn it on. So we turn it off, it's hidden. It doesn't delete it, it just makes it unviewable. Click it again to turn it on. But what we can do is we can edit the appearance. So you can choose a color that, oh, that's horrible. Choose a color that you like and tick. There's our stepped block.